This is the Maine Report, a public affairs program produced by the New England School of Communication.
Welcome to the Maine Report. I'm Konnor Newton. This is one of a series of editions focusing on nonprofit organizations in central Maine. You'll hear about their mission, who they're serving, and their vision for the future. Today we'll be focusing on Penquis, a community action program in Bangor. Our first guest today is Kara Hay, the CEO and president of Penquis. Kara, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Konnor.
So just to get started off, how did Penquis get its start?
It's a long history. Almost 50 years ago, Lyndon B. Johnson, president at the time, created the War on Poverty, given the high amount of poverty in our country. At that time, community action agencies were established across the country. Actually, today there are over 1,100 community action agencies, all doing great work to fight the war on poverty. Penquis is in its 48th year now in Penobscot and Piscataquis counties, and we've also been in Knox County for about 10 years.
So the overall goal of Penquis is to fight poverty. How do you go about doing that? I understand it's a complicated, and there are a vast number of approaches that you guys have to that, but if you could sum it up, what would be the best way to do that?
So I hear you, and I have to agree. We're a complex agency. We have over 50 programs, but I can tell you what our work is predicated on. Our work is predicated on the belief that individuals, when provided with the appropriate supports to meet their individual circumstances, will have a better quality of life, which will in turn help the communities in which they live have better quality. We provide a variety of supports. It includes areas of transportation, housing development and energy supports, high quality early care and education, and also many others, but especially an economic development arm of our agency as well.
Certainly. Do you think there's a common denominator among volunteers or people who come forward to be a member of Penquis?
Well, we have a large staff force. I would say we have over 300 employees, and I think that the people that we work with, the people that I'm fortunate enough to work with, first of all, are amazing people that have big hearts, are kind and considerate, and really want to give to the community. We also have many volunteers and volunteer programs, including our foster grandparent program and our retired senior volunteer program, and also through our transportation brokerage program. All of these folks are the faces of Penquis, and they have big hearts. They care about the community and the state in which we live.
Yeah. And how did you get involved with Penquis?
About 7 years ago, a good friend of mine, who is currently an employee, told me about a job opening at Penquis, and I had been working for the state, for the Department of Health and Human Services, and I heard about the opportunity, and Penquis had such a great reputation. We do great work. So I was thrilled to apply, and even more thrilled to be accepted into a position.
And what kind of issues do you see community action agencies facing in today's world? Like, what are some of the challenges?
I think the challenges are many, although we also have a lot of great successes. Funding is difficult, always. We still have an enormous problem with poverty. Almost 15% of Mainers live in poverty. And there's a pretty significant stigma around what that means. And so it's a real challenge to help people to understand that hard-working families live in poverty, that a lot of people who are our neighbors and our grandparents are in poverty. We have seniors who've worked their entire career and no longer have the economic means to support themselves at a level that is above poverty. We have over 1,000 laid-off mill workers in our community who are really struggling to get by. So finding the appropriate supports to help our community to be self-sufficient and healthy and strong is a challenge.
Do you think a lot of Mainers have trouble realizing that they need help or stepping forward and looking for help from Penquis?
Yes, I do. I think, unfortunately, that there's sometimes a stigma out there that people are ready to just get what is ever handed to them, and it couldn't be further from the truth. I can't tell you how often we hear about how much it hits people's pride to ask for help, but how much it means to be able to keep your homes warm in the winter, or to be able to have high quality early care and education so that families can go to work during the day, or to get a ride to a much needed medical appointment, or to dialysis, for instance, or to a job, and get supports in that way.
So since becoming CEO, what have been some of your goals and where you see Penquis as an organization headed?
That's a great question, Konnor. Our agency is a strong one, and as I said, we've been here for almost 50 years in a few of our counties. We do great work. We know our work. We love it. We believe in it. One of the challenges we have, though, because we're so complex, is making sure that people know who we are and all of what we do. So one of our priorities in the coming years is to really reach out to our communities and make sure that people understand our services, and that even if we don't have services, we might be able to help make connections with other key partners. We want to continue to grow and expand our partnerships and more of a community impact model to make sure that we are best utilizing taxpayers' dollars to support our people. And also, you have a document in front of you. We're really trying to establish some results that we hope to achieve for our community. When we think about Penobscot, Piscataquis, and Knox County, we think that all families, all individuals, all seniors should be healthy, safe, secure, and financially stable. We don't feel like that's too much to ask. That's something that any community member could get behind. So we have strategies in place to help move the needle on indicators that show us that this is not the case today.
Definitely. And part of that is what kind of involvement does Penquis have with other organizations across the United States similar to this one? Do you guys communicate with them, or is there a centralized comprehensive approach to dealing with poverty across the country?
So the premise of community action agencies is that each community action agency knows its community the best. So everyone should look different depending on the needs of the community. And how that plays out in the state of Maine, there are 10 community action agencies. We serve 3 of those counties. Each of the community action agencies work together to support the state as a whole, but how we serve those communities differ. Even within Penquis, the services we offer in Piscataquis County look different than Knox County and Penobscot County. What we do is look really closely at community needs, and through partnerships with key community players, and there are many, we identify the needs and together develop strategies to move the needle on poverty.
Definitely. We're going to take a quick short break, and when we come back, we'll speak with Tiffany Ash, a mother whose child is enrolled with Penquis and Head Start program. Stay tuned.
I see it!
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty when no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to the Maine Report. Our focus today is on Penquis, a nonprofit community outreach program here in Bangor. We've been speaking with the president and CEO, Kara Hay. Joining us now is Stacey Morrell. Stacey, you have a son enrolled in Penquis Head Start program. How did you hear about that, and how did you reach out to Penquis and get involved with them?
I actually have a sister and nephew who is quite a bit older than my son, and she's very meticulous about daycare providers. And he, my nephew, attended one of the Penquis Head Starts. That was my referral. And it was very nice. They're very wonderful people.
Excellent. So what has your experience with Penquis been?
Amazing. They're very kind and caring people. And twice a year, in the spring and the fall, they do home assessments They ask you questions, see if you need any help with family struggling, parental advice, health insurance, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. And have you seen a change in your, your son's education? Like, how is from the education standpoint, what have you observed?
I've observed a lot. He's been at Penquis since he was in Head Start, and now he is 4. And he talks well, he plays well with others, he's learning his numbers and his colors and his letters, and I feel like he is growing very well in that environment.
Definitely. And from his perspective, does he say much about those programs and how he feels about it? What kind of relationships he's gained with other people as well as the volunteers or teachers there?
Yes, every so often they'll have various activities of like fire trucks coming in so that the kids can see them, and those kind of events. He'll come home and be like, Mommy, guess what we did? Guess who I played with today? Guess what we got to make and color? And I'm like, that's awesome, bud.
That's great. Would you say that involvement has, created a sense of community around, like, within the people who have their children involved with the Penquis Head Start and schooling programs?
Yes. Recently I have switched my work schedule, so now I am able to pick him up in the evening from school, and I'm getting to learn more of the other parents and talk to them and things, and it's really nice. It's a whole new network now.
That's excellent. Would you recommend, or have you recommended to other people that they come and seek out assistance from Penquis?
Yes, I have, and I would do so again.
Yeah. Excellent. That's very cool. Kara, going back to you, do you have any upcoming events, or if people are looking to get involved, to volunteer with Penquis, how can they do that?
The easiest way would be to go to penquis.org. We are always looking for donations and gifts from our community. Right now, given that it's December, we are gearing up for our Christmases for Kids event, which is huge for our community. It helps to provide small gifts, coats, hats, mittens to families in need. It's winter's coming. We're in Maine, and the cold is around the corner, so any assistance that people can give to help with heat and fuel, we'd love to have. So if you go to penquis.org, there are multiple places where you can click and donate. Also, if you'd like to volunteer your time, please go to penquis.org, and we'd be happy to work with you around volunteerism.
Excellent. So looking into the future, what is ahead for Penquis? Where do you see the company headed as far as, public outreach, people getting involved, that sort of thing?
I see only beautiful things for Penquis. We're an amazing agency. We work so closely with key community partners, the business community, faith-based community. We love what we do, we believe in what we do, and I feel like there's opportunity all around us. So I think we'll continue to engage with our community, with the amazing people that we serve and our great staff, and that together we'll move the needle on poverty as we move forward.
Excellent. Do either of you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I'd like to thank Stacey for being here. It's brave. It
Yes.
takes a lot of courage to get up here and do this.
It's a first experience.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for coming in, Stacey. I know we had a little bit of teleprompter issue, and I confused who our guest was coming in, but thank you once again, both of you guys, for coming in. That wraps up our edition of the Maine Report. I'd like to thank my guests, Kara Hay and Stacey. I'm Konnor Newton. Thank you for watching.